Stats in the elevator. So every single year, ESPN Fantasies, Mike Clay, who's really, really good at fantasy football and whatnot, recommend giving him a follow. So he puts out projections for every single team, every single player of their stats for the upcoming season. And we decided to look at the Vikings today that just came out hot off the presses. And a couple things to keep in mind. A, he hates Dalvin Cook. B, he's a dirty Eagles fan. So keep that in mind as we go through the Vikings projections. So starting off at the top. So Kirk Cousins, he's got him going 333 for 495, 3,707 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 10 picks, and 36 sacks. So right away, looking at Kirk Cousins' stacks from last year. So regressed in yards, fewer touchdowns. He's got 21-10, more interceptions, which is great. Also, you can't see this on screen, but 28 sacks. Actually, there you go. 28 sacks last year for Kirk Cousins, who was under duress quite a bit. And now he's got Kirk being sacked 33 times. Is that? No, 36 times. So that's not great. So he's got him passing for few yards, less completion percentage, as well as fewer touchdowns, more picks, and more sacks. So, yeah, just great there. Does have him running for 2 touchdowns, though. Kirk did say that he did need to run more. So he's got that going on for him. But the 10 picks concerns me. So last year, Cousins was almost to a fault. Charlie checked out. He was very conservative with the football, which led to a career low 6 picks in a season where he was a full-time starter. I mean, you see when he started 5 games in 2014, he even threw 9 picks, right? So he had been a double-digit pick guy throughout his career. Last year, was it an anomaly? I mean, it could be. But overall, if this is the performance that Kirk Cousins puts in, A, because of the offense, B, because of the offensive line, C, because of himself, I would be very concerned. Also, all right, so for some reason they have Sean Mannion in on 2 games, so that's not a good sign. Alien abduction one time. And like we said, so he's not really that big of a fan of Dalvin Cook. So also, it's almost insulting that he puts Dalvin at 14 games, which I understand, right? With Dalvin's health track record, maybe penciling him for 16. Can't really do that. Also, statistics-wise, as you see that they even have the wide receivers penciling for 15 games because you just never know. But Dalvin, he's got rushing for 1,054 yards, 10 touchdowns, as well as catching 64 balls for 531 yards and a touchdown. Now, compare that to, all right, so total yards from scrimmage is 1,585 and 11 touchdowns, which is kind of nice, right? But compare that to Dalvin last year, again in 14 games, 1,654 yards and 13 touchdowns in said 14 games. So it's like downgrade of Cousins, and you have a downgrade of Dalvin Cook, which I don't really see. If Dalvin stays upright, if he stays healthy for a full 16-game season, I think he does make himself one of the best fantasy running backs in the league, as well as one of the best running backs in general in the league. He does have Alexander Madison getting 118 totes for 496 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that actually could be higher. Just because there's going to be so much. There's going to be so many carries to go around because the Vikings do want to be that run-heavy team. 411 carries by the running backs. Let's compare that to 476. So take out Cousins. So 445. So 445 carries for running backs and wide receivers last year. So down from that. I actually could see them giving at least 450, if not 470 carries to the running backs this year, as well as Cousins' attempts going down. So you had 495 to 444. Yeah, I don't see him passing more. I just really don't see that. Receiving wise, so here's where it's getting interesting. So he's got Thielen going for 78, 1,096, and 6 touchdowns. Now Thielen, hampered by injuries last year, had overall down season. Let's see, here we go. Stephon Diggs had 1,000. By the way, 1,130 yards on 63 catches. That's absolutely bat bleep insane. Yeah, but Thielen did have a down year with the injuries. So if he puts up another 1,000-yard season, that would be his third of his career. He should have had 1,000 yards in 2016, but I still have this massive conspiracy that in Week 17, I believe it was against the Bears. Let's look at game logs. Adam Thielen in a non-consequential game where the Vikings won 38-10, he only got 1 target. That's here. All right, so Thielen. Yeah, 1 target, 1 catch, 7 yards. Where Kyle Rudolph got 11 targets in that game. Just absolutely ridiculous. But I actually, conspiracy theory-wise, think that they did that because they didn't want Adam Thielen to get 1,000 yards so he could use that in contract negotiation, because he was a restricted free agent the next year. Then he signed an extension, but conspiracy theory rabbit hole. There you go. All right, so next up is, so they got Justin Jefferson coming out as a rookie. Now, we actually got like flack for saying that he could go for like 50 catches, 700 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he's in the same ballpark. He's projecting Justin Jefferson 56 catches, 684 yards, 4 touchdowns on 85 targets, where I feel like if you could sign up for that now, I think that's a win, because the Vikings, if they just plan from the slot, I think you could rack up tons of numbers. But if they are committed to having him work on the outside, there's going to be a learning curve there. And I'm not expecting a 1,000-yard season from Justin Jefferson. Now, I would absolutely love to be surprised. He comes in and has his own version of a Randy Moss type rookie season. That'd be awesome. Completely blow the doors off the roof, as Jordan would say. And then just become like a fabulous wide receiver one on this team. But I don't necessarily see it right now. That doesn't preclude him from becoming a superstar down the line. But if this is his rookie season, you'll take that. You'll absolutely take that to the bank. And now I understand that even though Cousins is passing for fewer yards for some reason, and buttload more attempts, but I don't know. I don't really see the passing game breaking down this way. Like, you have a nice little breakout mini season for 46, 480, and 3 touchdowns. Kyle Rudolph still leads or tied for second on the team with 4 touchdowns. I even though the Vikings are going to run a lot of 2 tight ends, 115 targets to the top 2 tight ends. Could that be spread out a little bit more to the wide receivers? Sure. Olabisi Johnson, if he takes a step back here, 160 and a touchdown, man, that'd be a big step back. Because like we said in the video yesterday, it's like I could see Olabisi Johnson in a world where there's no OTAs, there's limited training camp, limited to no preseason, where he just comes in as the incumbent wide receiver 2 and just hangs on to the job, because he's a supreme talent as well. And yeah, Jefferson coming in as first round pick, respect, awesome. Tajay Sharp, man, if Tajay Sharp puts in this little production, I could see him just being cut at this stage. He's got Chad Beebe hanging around. Chad Beebe playing 15 games. Yeah, okay. KJ Osborne in the mix as a return guy as well. But like we mentioned with running backs wise, CJ Ham getting involved. I'm surprised CJ Ham didn't get more receptions. And Mike Boone involved in spot duty as well. Gronklin, 7 catches, 78 yards. I think that might be a little bit high. It will be interesting to see the dynamic between Irv and Rudy, though, because here Irv is clearly starting to take over as the tight end 1 of the team. He's got more targets projected-wise than Kyle Rudolph. I think that he's astute there. I think he's right on the money there. So then it will be interesting to see how Kyle Rudolph's contract goes next offseason. So also projecting Pat Elflein to remain the starting left guard, which, given the current lineup and given what's going to happen this offseason, we talked about it could be a possibility that Pat Elflein just holds on to the starting left guard job just because he's the incumbent, just through sheer inertia, which kind of sucks. But projecting Drew Samia as starting right guard, I think that's astute as well. Dan Bailey making 84% of his kicks. Great. Britton Colquitt, nice little 45.2 average. Skolquitt, just dominating, doing great things yet again. Defensive side of the ball. So the thing that sticks out right away is that he's got Jaleel Johnson playing 428 snaps, which I don't agree with. I don't see happening. Also, he's got to project him for almost 3 sacks, which, But Shamar Stephen playing 611 snaps and only getting a sack and a half, I think that's pretty astute. So I think projection-wise, this is the defense playing about 958, or about 1,000 snaps, we'll say. Sure. So Pierce, I actually think that they'll use Pierce more even in passing situations. The Ravens did use him at nose in passing downs as well. But if you flip Armon Watts and Jaleel Johnson, I would be on board. Or, hell, even giving Armon Watts 500 snaps. I'd like to see what he does with that. He'd probably be up in the 5-6 sack range. Edgewise, so he's got Daniil taking a step back. How many sacks did Daniil have last year? Quite a few. Did pretty good. All right, so Daniil last year had 14.5 sacks. Afadi had 7, I believe. There we go. All right, Daniil. Everson could be back. Oh, Jaleel Johnson had 3.5 sacks last year. Oh, there you go. Surprise. All right, so he's got Daniil projected at 12.6 sacks. Sure. Afadi at 6.4. Sure. DJ Wanham And playing in spot duty, playing a lot of passing downs, projected for 3 sacks. I think that'd be a nice bar for him coming in as a rookie. He's got Cheeseburger at a Yarborough coming in for 2 sacks. I don't know if he's a lock to make the roster. Honestly, if you combine or if you split up Yarborough and Jaleel Johnson snaps with James Lynch and Anthony Zettel, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I wouldn't be. Linebacker wise, so as projected is it's a 2 linebacker team, right? So got Kendricks, Barr playing 3 downs. Not a lot else to go around. Eric Wilson, downgrade 275 snaps. I believe he played 400 plus last year, but just getting involved. 116 sacks for Kendricks, I think is huge. Almost 2 interceptions projected. That's big. Cornerbacks wise, so he's got the splits. He's got Dantzler in over Holton Hill. I think that's a little TBD. Harrison Hand getting in on quite a handful there. We'll see. But yeah, he's clearly got Hughes and Gladney established as the starting cornerbacks. Dantzler and Holton Hill coming in as the nickel guys or third cornerbacks. Then very likely Hughes kicks inside. He's got Hughes projected for 2 picks. Anthony Harris taking a step back, projected for 2.5 picks, even though he played basically all the snaps. I would see that. He is the ball hawk. Josh Metellus playing 204 snaps, where I do think Metellus is going to be that third sort of catch-all safety, where he's an okay box safety, he's an okay back end of the defense safety, he's an okay slot guy as well. Just say do it all. Jack of all trades, master of none type defensive back. I'm really excited about Josh Metellus. Also, what else do you got here? Returned. So he's got KJ Osborne as both the kick and punt returner. If Amir Abdullah sticks around, I could see him taking up one of those spots. But yeah, Osborne is what it is there. And then also he goes into the schedule. So the Vikings are win probability of 55%. He's got them projected at 8.7 wins, which if you're telling me bet over under 8.7 wins, I'd certainly bet the over. But he's got the Vikings as very heavy favorites at home against Carolina and Jacksonville, as well as Chicago at home. But the rest of it gets pretty dicey. So big dogs on the road against Indy. 59% against Green Bay at home, though. It's kind of nice. 66% at home against the Falcons, which is very intriguing. But also only 43% favorites on the road at Seattle. I'll certainly take that in a primetime game. And then Saints, even though the Vikings have gone down and just like trash the Saints a number of times, only projecting a 25% win rate on Christmas Day against the Saints. Okay, sure, yeah. Then the rest of these, I don't even know what these are. Unit grades, O-line 0.4. It's probably not great. Interior 0.9. How dare you show disrespect to James Lynch like that, as well as Armon Watts. Armon for Watts. Cornerback-wise, I get they're a young group, but come on. Respect to the safeties, respect to the running backs, respect to the tight ends. It's great. Blah, 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 blah. Defensive rank 10. Offensive rank 18. It's not great. So, overall, Mike Clay has got this Vikings team. Kirk Cousins sort of takes a step back. And frankly, if Cousins mails in this season where he's just giving the ball to the other team at a very high frequency, that may be it. But for a run-first team, they are trucking it a lot. Now, it's not as much as Kirk Cousins. Let's see here. Kirk Cousins, 606 attempts in 2018 after John DeFilippo went YOLO because he's like, I want to get a head coaching job. Let's throw it 606 times. So it's not quite that, but it's a lot more air raid than I would have expected it to be. I actually expect the Vikings running backs to get at least 450 carries, if not 575 or closer to 500. I think it would be a little bit more evenly distributed stat-wise between Thielen, Jefferson, and Olabisi. I wouldn't be shocked if Thielen, as a true wide receiver one, but getting solely wide receiver one attention from defenses, ends up short of 1,000 yards. But I could see this spread out more. I think he's right on with Irv Smith starting to take over as tight end one for Kyle Rudolph. But, I mean, defensively, he's sleeping on a lot of guys that we know that are going to be good. So, Fadi, it's going to be great. Jaleel Johnson, okay. Armon Watts stepping up. James Lynch, DJ Wanham potentially could contribute year one. Overall, fine. It is what it is. But, yeah, if the Vikings go 8.7, and 7.3, I'm really disappointed. But your thoughts on our thoughts on Mike Clay, ESPN's stat projections for the Vikings 2020. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Viking takes. Want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. Please give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skull, production value.